Back at it again, folks. We've got the Capricorn new moon, and we've got 4 cards for this because it's an eclipse. And oh, we got an eclipse right here on the card that I pulled. Can't make this up, people. It's amazing. So we've got the nasturtium card, or the chariot, in this deck. We have Clary Sage again. Out of over 100 cards, the Clary Sage card came out again, so you know that this energy is still rolling from last week. We've got the Two of Swords, and we've got orange calcite. So, and you might have noticed my glasses. Pretty exciting. I want to talk really quickly before I dive into the cards about privilege and just like the way in which I don't think you can understand how privileged you are sometimes until you lose the privileges that you have. And that fascinating thing that, like, I've always had pretty good eyesight, and I've never gone to the eye doctor because I can see perfectly fine, and that's all great. And from a long distance, I can see really, really well. But I didn't realize that in a short distance, like reading small, tiny things, my eyes have to work a lot harder in order to see that. And this is just a thing that I just thought I wasn't good at reading. I didn't like it. It made me tired. And now I realize it's all because my eyes were working extra, extra hard just to read close up or small things, you know, and then lighting and all of that thing. And then I have these other things going on in my eyes, and just what a privilege, number one, that I somehow still have health insurance and I still am able to get a referral to go see the eye doctor and just come out of pocket a little bit of money to get this examination. And then second of all, the privilege of eyesight. I always have seen very well, so I never understood how it would feel to not see well. Obviously, I even though my eyes have to strain, I can still see up close. Now, when they dilated my eyes, I couldn't see anything. And that was maybe the first time in my life that I wasn't able to see very clearly. And I realized, like, wow, that's a huge privilege that I completely took for granted 34 years of my life until this moment right now. And now I have so much more compassion and understanding for people who can't see that clearly, because I had always seen clearly. It was never anything that I had to think about. And when I couldn't see clearly, I was just like, oh my gosh, my whole world is rocked. Everything is upside down. I feel nauseous. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And it was only a few hours that was the case, but it really changed my perspective. And so I'm thinking, you know, some people got to lose some privileges. Some people gotta lose some privileges so that they can fucking understand what it feels like to not have those privileges. I'm gonna leave that right there. You do with that what you will, but we're gonna keep it moving. So these cards, I want to start with the nasturtium. So the nasturtium here is a card of the chariot. So it's about movement, it's about solar energy, it's about getting your juices flowing, getting you going, and also grounding your energy, like grounding a lot of like thought energy and a lot of anxiety and stress that gets wrapped up in your thoughts, and grounding it into your emotional body and seeing, like, where is this coming from? How can I move past it? How can I get grounded into myself and understand where my emotions are coming from, and then move forward, because I deserve to move forward. I deserve to have joy. I deserve to have a reason to live in this world. And so I think that nasturtium is just really asking us to, like, focus our energy, and how can we get down into ourselves and understand what it is that we really want. And so once we understand what we really want, we can put our energy towards that. And I love it. And also nasturtium is like a fully edible plant. You can eat the flowers. You put the flowers in the salad and they're a beautiful addition. They have a little peppery taste. You can dry the leaves and the flowers, and you can make a tea for it, and it's good for the respiratory system. So that's good for releasing grief. That's good for calming your nerves all throughout your body. Being able to breathe is the foundational point of meditation and taking care of yourself. So nasturtium is really here to like help ground you into your body and remind you that you can breathe deeply, that you can create the life that you want to see in this world, and you have the energy to do that as long as you're focusing your energy accordingly. Next, okay, I can't wear these the whole time because it's a little, I'm getting used to them. She's like, it's gonna take 3 weeks, and I'm like, okay, I'll just use them here and there. So orange calcite I want to talk about next. So this is a calcite cleansing stone. You know, it doesn't absorb negative energy, or at least that is what is said of this stone. And it's also bringing that solar energy, that sun, that fiery, that light that brings us life. And it wants us, again, to ground out of our thoughts and into our heart, to figure out what it is that we enjoy, and to believe that we deserve to have that joy, that we deserve to move through the world as if we are worthy of joy and taking care of ourselves and being happy and being healthy. And it's hard to believe that in this world. I don't know. For me, personally, there's a lot going on. I just spent the whole week with my mom, and that's like a whole intense thing that brings up a lot of emotion for me, and I have to keep reminding myself to like come down into the world, come down into my body, come down into my emotions, and understand that yes, shit sucks sometimes, and that's okay. And every step of the way, as long as I keep giving my good energy to my mom and knowing that I'm never gonna stop until like pretty much she passes away, I'm going to keep doing the best that I can to care for myself and care for her. And I'm not going to walk away from every situation feeling like, what's the point of living? I'm tired of feeling that way. I don't want to feel that way. And this solar eclipse doesn't want me to feel that way either. It wants all of us to feel like we have a purpose, or at least something to live for, because it's true. The difference between heaven and hell, we're here, we're in it. It's heaven, it's hell, it's all of those things. It just depends on your vantage point and what you're able to attune to and get your emotional grounding into. So this wants to just cleanse our energy and give us more energy. Like, find the things that bring you joy and happiness so that you can lean into them, and then you can feel a little better, hopefully, and like you want to live. Because I don't know about y'all, but there's plenty of times that I don't want to live. There's plenty of times I'm like, what the hell is the point of any of this? There's a point. The point is to keep on going and to imagine something different and to put it into action and find actionable steps to get you there. And the point is Coquito, my uncle. I haven't seen my uncle in years. And you know how ingenuitive my people are? This is a salad dressing bottle. I'm drinking Coquito out of a salad dressing bottle because my uncle he saved all these bottles and he made Coquito and he hands it out to his friends. That's my family, and we're here to save the world in our own little way, in whatever we can do. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Drink your Coquito, have a good time, because I'm feeling good because of this. I'm gonna be honest. This feels tapped into my heart and soul, the Coquito right now, to be 100. Yep. But anyways, moving on. 2 of Swords once again. So this card is usually depicted, or like in the classic Rider-Waite, it's a woman with a blindfold covering her heart with 2 swords. And it speaks directly to, because it's the swords element, so it has to do with the mind, it has to do with how you think about things. It speaks directly to your thoughts getting in the way of your heart. Getting in the way of, like, you're getting so wrapped up in whatever it is that's going on in your mind, the way that you're thinking negatively, the way that you're perpetuating the negative stuff that is around us. I'm I'm not saying ignore the negativity around us, because obviously you can't. Eventually, even if you try to ignore it, it will come knocking on your door. There's no way to ignore this. We have to be empathetic and in process of trying to change it to something better, but we can't move in that direction if we're unable to listen to our heart and figure out what our heart wants, because we're so wrapped up in the negativity of it all. And this is just like a thing that we will forever have to remind ourselves of, because I don't see it getting a whole lot better out there before it gets worse. Like, it's gonna come push to shove to something, one way or another. Like I said before, people are going to lose privileges, and that's going to rock them. I had to like literally just stay put and kind of close my eyes for at least an hour so that I wouldn't feel like I was gonna throw up everywhere. That's a little example of a one privilege that I didn't even have to give up. I could see right now. All my sight has come all the way back. I have these glasses that I can see closer, and now I'll get less fatigued when I read. But like, I now have more of a concept of what it's like to not have that privilege. And I know also that at some point I won't have that privilege. At some point this eyesight's going to go, because that's how it goes, you know? So what I'm saying is, I could get trapped up in the fact that I know that someday I'm not going to have as good of eyesight, or I can be just really grateful of what I have right now. My little $30 glasses that I got, my ability to go see this doctor to tell me how my eyes are doing. Like, I'm just trying to be grateful for what I have and to move forward in a way of imagining the possibilities of the world being a little bit better, uncrossing these swords from my heart to allow the moon to cross over the sun and it not be this thing that is an omen of negativity and hell breaking loose. No, it's an omen of releasing what needs to be released and moving forward into something that is more productive, not only for myself, but the larger world around me. Because when I get myself worked out, that's how other things can get in alignment. And that's how other people can realize that they too can get in alignment. So focus on what it is that you're thinking about. How can you organize yourself to be a little bit less harsh on yourself, harsh on the situation, or spiraling into how terrible everything is, and just remind yourself that you have the ability to uncross those swords, that you have the ability to merge the masculine and feminine, to know when to take care of yourself and step back and be receptive, to know when to put yourself out there and put yourself out there in the best way for your energetic body. Just things to think about. And last, Clary Sage. I know I talked about this a lot last week, but it's just come back around for us. So we just got to really understand that it's about taking this energy from our crown. Like, who is it that we're working with spiritually? And how are we grounding that down into our heart and into our root? To get down into how are we grounding into wherever it is where you're at right now. It doesn't matter where you're at right now. It just matters that you're grounding into that place and figuring out what's the best course of action for you while you are there. Because we can't see necessarily. I mean, some people, maybe they're psychic, tapped in, they can see the future. Good for y'all. I'm not, sometimes I see things, but most of the time I'm just riding the waves, you know? And so I have to take it as it comes. When I get hit with an emotion, like I'm really sad, I'm really distraught, I'm really taken down and I don't feel like I can keep going, I have to remind myself, like, who am I working with? How can I work with them more? How can I give offerings? How can I cleanse myself? How can I work with my body and get myself grounded and figure out where my emotions are at and focus myself and get more streamlined, get more in those waves and not being tumbled by the waves, but rolling with them, becoming a part of them. This is a theme. I'm going to say that's the theme of the end of 2019 moving into 2020 is how can we become the waves? We have to embody this and we have to believe that we can flow with life and that we can create something better hopefully in the future. Even if it gets worse before it gets better, Even if I don't personally see the fruits of my labor, I'm never gonna stop trying, because why stop? Because there's a purpose. There's future generations to think of. There's more to be compassionate about. Our privileges are a beautiful thing, and we should take stock of all of them, but is no guarantee that it'll last. Nothing will last forever, and who knows, and eventually we will all die regardless of how it happens. So how are we going to live the most fruitfully while we're here? That's the question. And the only way I can see doing it is being able to ride whatever wave is coming for us. And the only way that we can do that is finding our joy and knowing who we're working with on the physical level and the spiritual level. So with that, happy eclipse. It's not necessarily the time to like dive into something new because of the whole like eclipse. Even though it's a new moon, it's this eclipse, so it's kind of the tail end of this energy. I think it's called the dragon tail eclipse. So it's all about closing out this energy and starting to process what we would like to fill in the void. So thanks for sitting with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.